Hello, Pain Free for Life members, and welcome back to another Monday 10-minute training. This is Dr. Rob Van Bergen, and today we're going to be talking about scalar energy, but with a particular focus on electromagnetic fields that are created within our bodies and distorted by emotional trauma. Now, emotional trauma can leave an imprint on the body in the form of an embedded magnetic field. These fields can distort the flow of energy in the body and they can cause imbalances that lead to physical and emotional symptoms. We know that the mind plays an incredibly powerful and potent role in the healing of the body. It controls our fight or flight response. It can make us well, right? Positive thinking, and it can make us sick, negative thinking. We talk about the concept that scars have an emotional aspect as well. Every scar has a story, right? How did you get that scar? What happened when you got it, right? This is emotional trauma that is being actually built. And we see that in treating a scar, we can alleviate emotional trauma, but it also can make someone have an emotional reaction. However, what we don't talk about very often is electromagnetic imprints of trauma. Now, our body's language is frequency. We talk about that all the time, right? The microcurrent signals firing around within our body, they prove this. They send commands across the fascia in the body, and the body, it responds with action. But this language can also leave an imprint. And when we experience emotional trauma, this imprint is left within the body like a voicemail recording that just plays over and over. This can be one of the hardest parts of healing because every chronic illness or disease, every chronic pain problem, all of these will retain an emotional component. Resisting this type of healing, emotional healing, is not uncommon either. I have actually had clients tell me that they're not going to give this a try because they only want to work on the physical issues. They're not going to give it a try if they have to work on emotional. That's not a thing. And the good news is that it isn't a requirement for relief or even for almost total resolution. But in some cases, you will find you get 90% better, but you can't get that last 10% of the way to total resolution. That is the emotional component holding you back. So, if these emotional traumas are embedded within the body, how do we resolve them? I've talked extensively on the topics of chakras in the past, as well as PTSD and the PTSD protocol, gamma waves for brain health, all of these things. And you all know how much I love scalar energy, but I haven't really discussed the impact that scalar can have on resolving these emotional traumas. And if you hadn't guessed it from the title, that's what we're looking at today. So I suppose the first thing to do here is to look at there may be new people here who may not have any idea what scalar is. So what is a scalar wave? So simply put, a scalar wave is a non-Hertzian wave, meaning it has no frequency. They are essentially nothing. So by firing one wave into another wave, we're actually able to cancel out the electromagnetic field and create a field of zero, which is a pure blank slate, right? So it's close to nothing as we can get. It doesn't mean that there is nothing there, though. We still have random electromagnetic waves flying around in there, but the principal level of energy in the area that scalar is exposing on the body has been reduced to a near absolute minimum in that area. So if a scalar wave creates a 0-point field, projecting it into the body is going to have an effect, but what is that effect? Now, we already discussed our body has an electrical field. Our cells are electrical, microcurrent, right? Fundamentally, we are beings of electricity, the body electric. Remove the electricity from our cells, our body will start to break down, have too much electricity in it, and the same can occur as well. So just like a computer needs the right voltage to run, so does our body. Microcurrent can supplement this, right? We recharge the cells, we can get them back to work. But if those cells become clumped together, overcharged, they just don't know what to do, that's when scalar can step in. And by resetting the cells to a near zero electromagnetic energy level, they're essentially clearing the tissue of blockages to healing. So just as this works on physical problems, it also works on the embedded emotional imprints because these are recorded in an electromagnetic frequency deep within the fascial channels of your body. Unwinding them is just as simple as working on the area that you know is the problem, or working on the total body cleanse if you have no idea where the problem may be. So, how do we do this? Well, the beauty of scalar energy is that it is incredibly simple to use. It has zero real learning curve beyond plug it in and turn it on. So, essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to take your scalar chi, you're going to connect to the scalar on the bottom. And the important component is that you don't just push the wire in, you also twist this kind of cap here until it locks. Because if you don't, the wire, this one actually isn't locking. There we go. If you don't lock it in, the wire could come loose and you will no longer be treating with scalar energy. Once you've done this, you got to connect it to your microcurrent device, preferably an Evolution or a Pinnacle because they have the right program. So I've got it set here. I'm going to switch it on and it's going to be on 7 to 12 hertz. That's the mode I like. If you have an older model, the Pro Sport, your mode will be FM 7-12A. You point the device at the area of complaint. So let's say I have shoulder pain and I feel like that's where my emotional trauma is. Let's say I fell, I had an accident, and it's impacted my life. We know that the scar tissue, the injury from that can have that effect. We say that this is the area. I want my power to be maximum or until I can feel it. So I'm just going to hold the button down until I can no longer hear it increasing in power. Almost there, 250 power levels and all. Okay, there we go. So maximum, and you're going to leave it pointing at the area. Doing this for 5 to 10 minutes, this is normal. 5 minutes is usually enough. If you're looking at where is this trauma embedded, where could it be? Well, then instead of working on the area directly, because you don't know where it is, you can work on 3 key points in the exact same way. So these ways, these different points, the center of the forehead, right here, the solar plexus area, okay? Solar plexus area, and the pelvic area, so right near the groin. These are the 3 areas that we use when we're doing a core treatment. We're trying to treat the core of the body and reduce everything physically to maybe do general wellness. But in this case, doing 5 minutes on each of these points is going to provide you the benefits of kind of eliminating that noise that is in there, the traumatic imprint. So all you need to do, 5 minutes. I would say doing it daily is important. You may need to do daily treatments for a few weeks to properly reset the tissue and eliminate the electromagnetic buildup. It's like when we recommend scalar after things like vaccines, we talk about doing it daily for a week, for 2 weeks until side effects or whatever that may be may have subsided. So in the case of this, absolutely recommend doing it 5 minutes each point, doing it daily, and making sure you keep that on track for about 2 weeks. Okay, so that is it for today's video. Thank you all for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you next week for another Monday 10-minute training. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.